Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Thank you for joining us live. Friday morning. Jeff, we got college football, Detroit Lions football. Got a lot of football to cover today. We got bets later on in the day, of course. Ooh, where do we want to start? We're going to start with last night. What
a game.
Chiefs win 27-24. Hell of a game. My question to you is, what did we take away? What did we learn? And I think for us, it was a reminder that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
I mean,
no question.
He's now, what, in his sixth year?
Yeah.
He's starting to become a vet, polished. He's seen it all. He's been to a Super Bowl, multiple AFC championship games. He's been there, done that. And it showed between the two teams. The difference last night was experience. Chargers have just as much, if not more, talent. They controlled most of the game. And the second the Chiefs had an opportunity, they jumped on it, and the Chargers didn't. And that, to me, is just experience in coaching. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, those two over Brandon Staley and Justin Herbert right now. Jeff?
I'm right with you. I mean, we picked a field goal game. We picked the Chargers to win. It was the opposite for a lot of reasons. I think not having Keenan Allen really did hurt Justin Herbert a little bit. I know Mike Williams played well, but overall, what I took from the game, Patrick Mahomes is never bet against him. I'll say that. I mean, even like you were saying, the Chargers I thought did a really good job defensively. Same with the Chiefs. But the thing was, you gave up some big plays, especially the big play to Justin Watson for 40 yards over. I think it was over J.C. Jackson too, which is even more surprising. So that's the difficulty of going to Arrowhead and playing. I mean, it was a loud crowd. You could tell. Even Brandon Staley at the beginning, the Chargers were up 17-7, and then after that, things just got out of hand. And the pick six towards the end of the game, Justin Herbert threw in the red zone. That was like the shank in the heart.
I don't know.
Because they had momentum going forward, and then they throw the pick six, and then after that.
At that point of the game, they had a 73% chance to win.
Yeah.
Before that pick six. They had full control. And Everett was trying to get off the field, by the way.
Yeah.
He was calling, I'm tired. And he ran a tired route. Because if you actually watch back the play, anyone who's not tired, specifically Everett, you box out that corner.
Yeah, they're going to fight for that ball. I mean, it's an incompletion.
He made no effort.
No.
Worst case, it's an incompletion. But he was too tired. And the fact that he was tired, he had signaled, and the play that came to the field and hurry-up offense was a rollout and throwing it to Everett. Made no sense to me.
Yeah, they should have ran the football because again, you're in that situation. I mean, just get the touchdown. Austin Eckler, I know he didn't have the greatest game, but you got to trust him in that situation. Not trust, Gerald Everett, like you said, was dead tired. You could see there was no effort in that play. But again, the Chiefs, to me, 2-0. Patrick Mahomes has 7 touchdowns through 2 games without Tyreek Hill. Listen, it's a big loss because you saw at times too, what the Chargers were doing. They basically giving Patrick Mahomes everything underneath. They were saying you're not going to beat us over the top, even though he eventually did beat them over the top with Justin Watson. I thought the Chargers had a good game plan going in, facing the Chiefs without Tyreek Hill. It's like, hey, we don't trust your speed. We don't trust you to beat us over the top. And for a while it was working, but towards the end of the game, the Chiefs scored 21 in the third and fourth quarter. So they made a comeback, and like Patrick Mahomes, man, I'm pretty sure Richard Sherman alluded to this at the halftime show. He's like, even though it's, whatever the score is, he's like, Patrick Mahomes can easily bring this team back and win this ball game. That's who Patrick Mahomes is. He's special. So
it was
we got
a game
just
of
that.
3 plays. In my opinion.
We got just that.
It was the pick six. It was Mahomes escaping the pocket, rolling out, fooling the entire defense and throwing it to McKinnon for a touchdown. And it was the step up in the pocket, a dime throw past J.C. Jackson to Watson. It was only 3 plays. Kansas City only made 3 plays, and they were the right plays. Mm-hmm. And it won them the game.
Absolutely.
And that's experience. That's been there, done that. And the Chargers are going to have to learn how to win these games, man.
And I thought the Chiefs did a good job defensively because they adjusted to Mike Williams. Like, he had 80-something yards in the second quarter, finished with only over 100. So I get he had a great game, but really a majority of those yards came in the first and second quarter. So got to give credit to the Chiefs for adjusting. Chris Jones, I mean, the guy just took over the game. I mean, 2 sacks, 2 tackle for losses. You could tell the more injuries that the Chargers suffered on their offensive line. Corey Lindsey went out, their center.
They lost their center
They lost
and
a
the right tackle.
And you could just tell throughout the game, like Justin Herbert was getting pressured, and that's why he hurt his ribs. And he had to come out the game. Yeah, he did. That hit he took by Chris Jones, that's a grown man. And the Chargers, they'll be fine. I mean, I still think they're going to be just fine. But, again, you got to learn how to finish these games. And we were right. We said defensively, the Chiefs have to adjust to a team like the Chargers. Like, they not only have guys like Asante Samuel Jr., who dropped a couple interceptions.
He dropped a pick 6.
Yeah, he did. He did. And J.C. Jackson. But they adjusted. So give credit to the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah,
they're
100%.
leaders in their division. And I got to say it. I'll come out and admit it. I didn't believe them in the beginning of the season. They're 2-0. We'll see how they finish up. But so far, they look damn good, Adam. They do.
And they got a tough road ahead.
They do. But
they play Indy. They play the Bucks. They've got some teams coming up. The Raiders. They play the Broncos. They got a tough 5-game stretch here. So we'll learn a lot about the Chiefs moving forward. But Chiefs did a hell of a job. They were the home team. They were at home, protecting their field. To win a game by 3 points, I mean,
that's how you win.
You take it. You take it, you put it in the win column, and you run because you probably didn't deserve to win that game given how the first 3 quarters went. Right. But it was a beautiful play by a 7th-round rookie, a pick 6, pick number 243 in the previous NFL draft. Pick 6. I mean, you can't script this stuff.
No,
you literally
you can't. You
so
can't.
Kansas City made the plays they needed to make. It's that simple. End of story.
But what I took from it, too, is this is the future. I mean, you have Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes already. I mean, he's the now, and same with Josh Allen. But Justin Herbert, I mean, these guys are – I can't wait to see these guys battle for 10, 15 years. So it was a great one, man. Quarterback battle. It was everything you wanted to see. So great Thursday night game. I know it was on Amazon, which I know a lot of people felt differently about it. Like my stepdad was frustrated he couldn't tune in on his television. But for me, tuned in. It was a great game, and I'm glad I did. So Chiefs are better than I expected. I'll admit it. Listen, I fell for the bait. I thought Tyreek Hill would at least hurt him, but through 2 games, it has not. 7 touchdowns through 2 games. No interceptions. So he's damn near perfect.
All right, well, look. One concerning thing would be Justin Herbert's rib injuries moving forward.
Absolutely.
Not sure the situation there, but he looked in a lot of pain. He threw an absolute dime on 4th down to set them up for a late touchdown, but no Justin Herbert, no season. Like any team that would miss their starting franchise
so
quarterback.
You're saying Chargers fans aren't going to be clamoring to get a better backup than Chase Daniel? Because when you saw when Chase Daniel went in that game,
he just handed the ball off. Leave the guy the hell alone. He did his job.
But that goes back to the point we've been making for a month now. It's like, hey, if Justin Herbert goes down, it's over. Like Chase Daniel, there's no, Nick Foles there for the Chargers. It's funny how much money Chase Daniels made by just simply, backing up quarterbacks.
$41 million.
Shout out to Chase Daniel.
Good for him. That's how you make the most out of your career. Let's take a quick break. When we get back, we have to talk about the Commanders and the Lions. We'll preview the Week 2 matchup. Is it a must-win? We'll go positional breakdowns at 8:30. Keys to victory at 9 o'clock. Of course, we got to get to Michigan State, who must perform second hour of the show on Sunday for the Detroit Lions to win. And then, of course, we'll give our game predictions and my 5 bets of the week. We went 2-3 last week. Not too happy about that. So we'll make it up this
Garbage.
week. Fish, one of these days, buddy, you will get killed. I just want you to understand that.
Yeah, I've been prepared.
We're going to take a break. When we get back, you know what's coming up. Jeff, our good friends over at Big Boy.
Yes, guys, I know where I'm going for lunch today. It's Big Boy. For a limited time only, they have the all-new burgers and loaded fries at Big Boy. And it's not just the Slim Jim, it's the Big Jim. The chili cheese burger is such a tease. Guess what else is new? The bacon blue. How about upgrading those fries? They got the chili cheese fries, baked potato fries, and the nacho fries. Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
You're
You're an ugly guy, and that's okay because you've outkicked your coverage with your significant other. Well, that's good news for you. Their hotness and your notness could get you front row tickets. The Woodward Sports Network is giving you a chance to sit front row for the Detroit versus Washington football game. That's right. We're looking for the ugliest guy and the hottest girl. So fellas, come on. If you know you've outkicked your coverage, here's your chance. Post a pic of you and your superior-looking partner on Twitter or Instagram with hashtag Woodward Front Row. Follow us and tag at Woodward Sports. Hurry, because we'll be selecting a winner September 16th. We can't wait to see you. Well, her. From the network that always outkicks the competition. Woodward Sports.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play. And before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Jeff Iafrate here. I'm going to tell you about our friends at Chili Peppers Tanning. Guys, winter is coming, unfortunately, but the reality is you can still get tan, no matter if the sun's out or not. Go to Chili Peppers Tanning at Chili Peppers. You'll get all the best deals, plus they will beat all competitors by $5. Chili Peppers has the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, and the darkest tans. 26 locations and more on the way.
Chili Peppers Tan.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show. Jeff, the Washington Commanders, they open up as 2.5-point dogs. It's moved down to as low as 1 point, as I've seen, but we're going to move with 1.5. You mentioned to me before the show, you said, hey, should I be worried about Washington? So, Jeff, walk me through it, buddy.
I am. I'm a little worried about Washington for a couple reasons. Number one, I got to give respect to Ron Rivera. Obviously, he's a good head coach. But on top of that, just the roster that the Commanders have, like they're in a way they're very comparable to the Detroit Lions, and that's what worries me because we always talk about this being a team you should beat. But the more and more I think about it, the Commanders are really talented. I mean, Carson Wentz, say what you want about him. He had 4 touchdown passes last week. The thing is, he's prone to turn the ball over, so you might be able to snatch some away from Carson. But the reality is they got Antonio Gibson, they got Dotson, Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, Logan Thomas. They have an offense. And defensively, even without Chase Young, which is going to be beneficial for the Lions, they don't have Chase Young, they still got a pretty good defensive line, and they have a decent secondary. So for this one, it really is a tough one to call. A couple of things I'm going to be looking for is you saw last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars for the Washington Commanders, they allowed 6 yards average per carry. James Robinson had 6 yards per carry. Travis Etienne in 4 carries had 11.8 yards per carry. And then you had Jamal Agnew with 1 rush for 6 yards. So the point is, without Chase Young, and what the Lions do, their strength is running the football. That's an avenue they're going to want to pursue, especially against the Commanders. I mean, I know that's their offense regardless, but I think they're going to find success against the Commanders, especially with no Chase Young. If you can run the football and not allow Jared Goff to throw 40 times like he did against the Eagles, I think this is a winnable game, absolutely, especially considering you have a comparable wide receiver core, I would say. Maybe not as good as the Commanders, but you do have Amon-Ra, DJ Chark, TJ Hockenson, Josh Reynolds. I mean, you got guys. So offensively, I'm not too concerned. My concern is defensively against what the Commanders have, because last week, Jeff Okudah did a really good job. Amani Awari, I know he didn't have his best game. He's looking to bounce back. He'll probably be on Terry McLaurin. But the reality is, it's just a lot to account for. And this team is so young defensively, especially. I think Aiden Hutchinson, that offensive line is not like the Eagles. Let's get that straight. So I think you're going to be able to get pressure on Carson Wentz, and he's not as mobile as Jalen Hurts. So that's what I'm looking forward to, is can you get pressure on Carson Wentz? Or are you going to allow him to do, a three-step drop back, get rid of the football quickly? Because if you can get rid of that football quickly, Lions are in for a long day. But if you can keep him in that pocket and contain him and get to him, I think they're going to find more success. That's what Jacksonville was able to do as well. He threw 2 interceptions, Carson, against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So that's kind of the avenue for success for me. I mean, if you're going to get to the quarterback and if you can run the football and not allow Jared to have to, single-handedly attempt 40-plus passes, that's the avenue you're going to want to pursue. But the reason why I said I'm worried about the Commanders is I think people just are sleeping on them a little bit. I don't think they're going to win the NFC East or nothing like that. But, again, they're better than the Giants. They're better than the Cowboys. Like, they're probably the second team in that division. So, for me, it's a tough one to call. But if they're going to want to win this game, Adam, Aiden Hutchinson's going to have a really good bounce-back performance for me. Pressure the quarterback. And DeAndre Swift's got to follow it up as well.
Their run offense is going to be pivotal. They were able to get it going against Philly. But I don't want to spoil who I think must perform. He's going to play a big role, but this team really needs to open up. And I'm not talking on offense. I think the offense gave you enough in the first game where you were like, you know what?
Yeah.
Like we're going to be okay. The defense can't give up 24 second quarter points.
No.
And as a coaching staff, our responsibility as coaches, right, is to put the players in the best position to succeed. I don't believe giving Philly an extra possession before half and then allowing them to come out after you make second half adjustments, and have them score 10 points within that time span is good coaching. All I need on Sunday is the Lions not to fuck it up. As I think they're going to be in the game. I don't see Washington blowing out this football team.
No.
It will be a close game. I think the defense will play better than they did against Philadelphia. They won't have to worry about Carson Wentz gashing them for 50, 60, 70, 80 yards. There will be opportunity there for Washington. And like we talked about with the Chiefs and Chargers. What did the Chiefs do last night that the Chargers didn't?
Made those couple extra plays. Big plays.
They made the plays. They jumped on opportunity.
Yeah.
The Lions on Sunday against the Eagles didn't jump on opportunity. And then the game went on and on and on, and then Philly pulled away. Up 17, I want to say 2 times, from the third to the fourth quarter. But point is, Jeff, you're going to be in the game. You're 1.5 point favorites. You're at home. Starting 0-2 with 2 home games against the NFC East isn't ideal. If you split them, I think most people would live with it and say, all right, cool. That's what you wanted. That's what you wanted. I didn't think we could beat Philly, Adam, so I'm not going to get mad that they lost to Philly. Okay, fine. Got to beat Washington.
Yeah, you can't say that every week.
You got to beat Washington. And it's not about just making the plays. As coaches, when are you not going to be at the center of a conversation on a Monday morning because of 1, 2, or 3 decisions that you made during that game? My question to you, Jeff, is are you more worried about the pass rush against Carson Wentz, or are you more worried about the offense?
I would say the pass rush. You got to get to Carson Wentz. You can't have – and they actually did a really good job last week, I thought, even not getting, sacks on Jalen Hurts. Jeff Okudah, Monty Warrior, they held up pretty well. So I think this week, if you can get pressure on Carson, it's going to make those guys' jobs a lot easier. I'm not too worried about the offense. Although Washington, they have a pretty good defense. But I'm more concerned about just getting to the quarterback, Adam, because if you can get to the quarterback and disrupt plays – that's going to turn. You have to get a turnover in this game. That's a must. You didn't get one against Philly. It's ideal to get a turnover, and by doing that, your best case is by pressuring Carson Wentz, whether that's an interception, whether that's a fumble, whatever it is. You got to make plays. So I'll say pressuring the quarterback is more important to me.
I will agree, and I think Aiden Hutchinson will have a better game.
Me too.
This is very important for this defense. I'm not saying Washington are a pushover. Washington do have Terry McLaurin. They do have Antonio Gibson. They have an okay offensive line. Carson Wentz is an okay quarterback.
He's like
who can play really good and really bad.
It's like similar to Jared Goff in a way.
And I would prefer if this defense made Carson Wentz look like the Carson Wentz you saw against Jacksonville at the end of the year last year. The Carson Wentz where he would throw multiple interceptions and a in a 3-4 minute span. That's the guy you want to see on Sunday. And he's there. But you just don't give him time, put pressure on him, and this is a very winnable game for the Detroit Lions. It's right in front of them. This isn't, oh man, we're traveling on the road. We're traveling against a team that's better than us. You're at home. You're at home. Let's see what the chat says right now. Let's see. They don't have much depth except at tight end. I believe you're talking about Washington or the Lions. Because I don't apply that either. Logan Thomas is okay.
Don Burr said, Adam, Washington is actually probably more talented than Detroit.
I would say on the defensive front, absolutely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say at quarterback. I would say they're even. At running back, the Lions are more talented. At wide receiver,
they're deeper.
At wide receiver, Commanders have what? Curtis Samuel?
Yeah, and he's
Terry
not no
McLaurin?
pushover. Yeah.
Well, who's more talented? Terry McLaurin, probably between the two teams, is the most talented.
Yep.
But if you add the group up, Chark, St. Brown, Reynolds, over Dotson, who's a rookie, Curtis Samuel,
Dotson
and Terry McLaurin.
Dotson caught 2 touchdowns last week.
That's not much better than the Lions.
No, it's not.
Logan Thomas is not better than TJ Hawkinson.
Nope, TJ's better.
The Lions' offensive line is better than Washington's. So you guys kind of tell me what I'm missing here.
Yeah.
You guys kind of tell me what I'm missing. Let's see. Duke says, "Shut up, Adam." Duke, do me a favor, buddy. I want you to drive down Woodward. And when you see the building, okay, I want you to open the front door, come inside, and suck my dick.
Don't do that.
Cool?
I would not do that.
Let's continue. If the Lions lose, I have a feeling the boos will be loud as F.
And I think that's the point you were making too. First 2 games at home, it was sold out the first game. You lose a close one, close at the end rather. And then if you lose the second game at home, I'm not saying, and I hate saying the word must win because it's too early to say must win, and they're not in a position to have must win games. But let's call it an ideal win. This is ideal. It's ideal you win this game because of the first 2 games are at home, and you want to keep this fan base still engaged. Like you're going to Minnesota, let's say you're 0-3, you're going to come back for Seattle at Ford Field, 0-3, possibly, potentially. Like that's going to be hard for fans to keep buying in. I get it, but it's not the end of the world if you're 0-3. But it's just not ideal. It's not the start we all expected. You expect to get one of these games stolen away. So if you're going to steal one of them, to me it's Washington. So that's the ideal result.
And you know what, Jeff? I don't like having to put must win. Must win, right?
Yeah.
For a team that we both expected not to make the playoffs.
No.
A team that we expected, though, to improve, to be better, to not make the same mistakes they made last year. And again, you lose to Philly, and you want to sit here and say they were the better team. They played better than us. How much of that is very true, and how much of that is lack of coaching, lack of discipline, coaching mistakes? You can lose football games. This is very normal. Did Brandon Staley make a single mistake last night? I could argue one. And it was them forcing the no-huddle. I'm not sure who made the decision, whether it was Lombardi in the box, Herbert. I'm not sure what happened there. If there was one mistake the Chargers made, it was at the goal line with that throw to Everett. He was trying to get off the field tired. That was the wrong play. If you were in hurry up to hand it off, I would have been okay with it.
Right.
But the fact that you called a play and you were throwing it and you just so happened to target the guy who was trying to get off the field makes no sense to me. That's a mistake. When the Lions lost multiple games last year, how many of them did we have a conversation about coaching decisions? Many.
I was going to say a handful.
There were a handful.
Yeah.
And what are we looking for in the second year? Improvement not only in the team, not only in the win-loss record, but the coaching and the players as well.
Absolutely.
And for the coaching, you don't want to see those very same mistakes. And in Game 1 against Philly, I saw a very similar mistake that they made against Baltimore when they sacked Lamar Jackson, had the entire Baltimore team on the fences, ready to win the football game. They're out of breath, and you call a timeout, only to get beat
right
on the following play. Stop making the same mistakes. That's all you can ask for. Adam, the must-win is conditional. They must win if they want to keep the offseason hype going, gain credibility for the coaching staff, have any playoff hopes. See, I would take out the last part. There's no such, again, that's why I hate saying must win. Because when we talk about a must win, I mean, if you think this is a division contender or a playoff team, it's a must win. Because the team that starts off 0-2, the chances of them making the playoffs plummets.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with the playoffs.
But that's not the Lions situation.
Right.
But damn it, Jeff. I don't want to have to come in here on a Monday and they start 0-2 for a third straight season.
And I get that. A part of me also, like, you could still go 0-3 and win 6 games. But the problem is what you just alluded to. And that's how you start the season. That's the problem I would have. You can't start 0-2, 0-3, and then play catch-up. I mean, that would be... It's kind of like what we always say about Jim Caldwell. Like, you have to win these games early on. It's just, for Dan Campbell's sake, yeah, you want to win this game. That's what you want, especially at home. To keep the fans, I mean, still cheering, still fully engaged. Like, you're going to have those guys coming out the woodworks again, the same old Lions if you lose. And then if you lose to Minnesota, you're 0-3. Oh, same old Lions. Like, for everybody's sake, they know this is a must-win. I mean, Dan Campbell's even mentioned it. We just got to get better, and the rest will take care of itself. But I'm with you. It's not a good look if you're 0-3, man. Even if you end up winning 6-7 games, it's just how you start. You can't keep doing that.
No, I don't. That's why I can't go to Game 10. I can't go to Game 14, Game 17. I can't. We're in Week 2. I don't want to have to do this. I don't want to have to start thinking about next season or the draft picks. Just take it a week at a time. Mm-hmm. You blew the game. If you can acknowledge you blew the game and your opportunity to win against Philly, you can go into Washington and put in a better performance. And I don't want to see any trickery. I don't want to see an onside kick coming out of half, right before half. I don't want to see any of that crap. Go out and play a conventional football game. Make aggressive decisions when you have to, like you did for the 1-4 down you went for, which ended up in a touchdown run, by the way, from DeAndre Swift.
Right.
And go and win this game. You have every opportunity to. Washington is not significantly better than the Detroit Lions. You know what? 8:30 is coming up in 2 minutes. This is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go by position, coach by coach. Who has the advantage? Quarterback, running back, wide receiving group, offensive line, defensive line. We'll go through the whole list. And I think that will offer more clarity.
Yep.
On what will happen this Sunday. But before we do, today on the Heavyweights, they're going to be announcing the winner of the Outkick Your Coverage contest, where we'll be giving away front row tickets to 2 lucky people. A pair of tickets for you. All you have to do is just date somebody, marry somebody, have a cousin, have a sister that's better looking than you, posting it online, tagging Woodward Sports, and using hashtag Woodward Front Row. So the Heavyweights are going to announce it. We got some awesome entries last night. It was actually pretty awesome to see. There are some people who are in the lead, who definitely pulled 10s while they're probably
If you win this contest, how should you feel about yourself?
You should feel damn proud of yourself. I mean, there was a guy, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say his name.
Jesus Christ.
He looked like he basically looked like he laid down on Woodward. A semi-truck ran him over.
Oh my God.
But he was somehow able to pull Miss Michigan. I mean, that's the kind of game we're talking. Wow. So whoever this guy is, and he probably knows who he is. Congratulations,
I had a picture of
buddy.
Miss Michigan.
You did a hell of a job. We'll be announcing him tonight on the Heavyweights. Make sure you tune in. We'll see you guys in just a bit.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the Odds Trader Bet Tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to Odds Trader, and best of luck.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper. Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Are you interested in expanding your career and making a difference in your community? The Academy of Warren for professionals that have a passion for working with students in the K-8 departments and more. For more information on how to apply, call them at 586-552-8010. We are the Academy of Warren.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show, 8:31 in the morning, Friday. We got college football tomorrow. We've got NFL Sundays, of course. Jeff, the Commanders and the Lions, who would you rather have? The quarterback situation will start with Carson Wentz or Jared Goff going into Sunday. And you have to answer one way because of your answer last week. So you're already tied to the hip.
Jared Goff.
Go ahead.
I'm going to go with Jared Goff. They're very similar quarterbacks. The only difference I would pull from, and I get it didn't happen recently, it was a couple years ago, but Jared's at least proven he can get to that big game. Like Carson, Nick Foles led them and won a Super Bowl for them. But I'm going to trust Jared Goff. Although Wentz, at some points, like he's less he's less turnover prone, I guess, in a way. If you look at his career interceptions, he's not a guy who's throwing double-digit interceptions every year. But at the same time, I just trust Jared Goff. I don't know. I don't trust either of them, but at the same time, I'm going with Jared Goff.
I think the team that has the advantage at quarterback, I'm going to give it to Carson Wentz. I'm going to give it to Carson Wentz because he did lead Washington to the win over Jacksonville. So far this season, he has proven more than Jared Goff. And I think this is a big game for Goff. And on most Sundays, I probably prefer Goff over Wentz.
Yeah.
But in this situation, it is a dome environment. Washington will have Curtis Samuel, Antonio Gibson, Terry McLaurin. I mean, he will have weapons to work with alongside Jared Goff. But I'm going to give the edge to Wentz right now. He's playing. He had a very good first game. Very solid. They won their first game. The guy finds a way to win. For all his troubles, for all his mistakes, for all his flaws. Slight edge. Barely.
Yeah, and
if I were to put a percentage on it, it'd probably be 51-49. But I have to give it to Wentz.
And I got to say, too, like, I hate this conversation because I really don't trust either of them, but I'm going to go with Jared just because he's done it. I get Todd Gurley was he was the best player on that team that went to the Super Bowl.
I can't do that.
But Jared Goff was at quarterback. He was throwing passes.
I can't do that.
So.
No, I can't.
What do you mean? What?
Because it's different circumstances, different teams. And I look at Washington now. They look very fluid just one game into Carson Wentz. I look at Jared Goff, and that first half was very concerning. Yeah, they picked it up in the second half. But you have another first half like you did against Philly.
Yeah, no,
you're not going to be happy with the result, guys.
No, I get it. If you're going off last week, then yeah, you're probably going to pick Carson Wentz. But in general, I mean, Carson doesn't turn the ball over much. He does make Carson's
mistakes,
been traded around the league more. He's been swapping around like an ex-girlfriend. So I don't know about. I'm going to go with Jared Goff.
Well, I think we both agree on this answer then.
Yeah.
But break it down for
me, Jeff. I hate this
Jeff.
part, by the way. It's the worst
Running
part. Running
backs. Who's got the advantage going into Sunday?
Yeah, it's definitely the Lions. They're deeper. I get Antonio Gibson. He's nice, but DeAndre Swift is he's coming into his own. He's turning into really I said this earlier this week. He's the closest player on offense to really being a superstar. So I'm going to go with DeAndre Swift. They got Jamal Williams. They even got guys in that backfield. They're just deeper. So I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions and the running behind that offensive line. So give me the Lions.
Gibson had a phenomenal game, really through the air for Washington.
Help my fantasy team.
God bless. The edge is definitely the Detroit Lions. First look at the starters, Antonio Gibson, DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift has superstar. He has that X factor, playmaking, home run hitter ability that Antonio Gibson doesn't really have. It's not even close to me. If you want to go based on depth, too, I would still pick the Lions. So move on to the wide receiving core. I think this is where it gets interesting. Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, Jahan Dotson. You have DJ Chark on the Lions side with Amon-Ra St. Brown and Josh Reynolds. Jeff, who do you got?
This is tough. I'm going to go with Washington, though. I just think Terry McLaurin is the best receiver on the field. Curtis Samuel, he's no slouch either. And Dotson caught 2 touchdowns last week. So I'm going to go with the Washington Commanders, but it's very close. I thought if Jamison Williams was playing, maybe you give the edge to the Lions. But right now, I mean, if I'm looking at DJ Chark, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Josh Reynolds, I would take Curtis Samuel over Josh Reynolds. Dotson, I would take Amon-Ra over Dotson, and then McLaurin I would take over Chark. So they're 2-1 right there. So I'm going to go with the Commanders for the wide receiver core.
Okay. I'm going to disagree, actually. If I'm Carson Wentz, let's just say I'm the quarterback. Forget I'm Wentz or Goff. I would rather be throwing to DJ Chark, who had a phenomenal catch, by the way, against Philly. That was one of our bets that hit, by the way. DJ Chark, anytime touchdown score. Mm-hmm. Phenomenal catch. Showed his versatility downfield. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Josh Reynolds. I have to work with, yes, he looked good week 1. Yes, he got a lot of targets. But Curtis Samuel, look, I love McLaurin. I think he's going to have a breakout year. But he was held for 2 catches, 54 yards, and a touchdown against Jacksonville. Curtis Samuel, that guy's been passed around the league. I believe it was with Carolina prior. Jahan Dotson, a rookie, who really everything he produced were touchdown catches. He looked really good. But I've got a 1-game sample size of that working. I'm more confident in the Lions receiving core. Way too much unproven players and players that really don't play to that level consistency, like a Curtis Samuel. God, that was a hard one to get out. All right, tight ends. Jeff, who's got the advantage?
This one's easy.
Washington or Detroit?
Yeah, it's Detroit, no question. TJ Hawkinson's much better than Logan Thomas. But again, that's probably the only position, because you're going through all these positions. It's very close. Like quarterback, it's like I don't care who you choose. You pick Carson. I'm not going to argue with you. Honestly, I don't mind Carson. I don't mind Goff. Like they're both middle of the pack quarterbacks. So looking at the run game, yeah, I mean in terms of DeAndre and Antonio Gibson, they're both very good running backs. And then you look at the wide receiver core, very similar. Tight end is not similar. I mean, I'm going with TJ Hawkinson. He's just better than Logan Thomas.
As easy as it is for me to say it is the Lions. Right. Hawkinson hasn't proven a goddamn thing.
But
I'm just saying.
What has Logan Thomas done?
Nothing either. Okay. I'm just. But in context, though.
Yeah, I mean,
like this is not something I'm happy to say. I am happy to say that the Lions have a better backfield. I'm very happy to say they have a better wide receiving core, even if it's only slightly.
Right.
The tight end means nothing to me. Yeah, it's Hawkinson, but I'm not going to spend any time on that. The offensive line, we both agree. I would say Washington somewhere between top 12, top 15 offensive line in the league right now. The Lions have a top 5 offensive line. It's not even close.
Yeah, it's the Lions.
Defensive front, not even close.
Yeah, you know the answer
to
this. Yeah, Washington. Even without Chase Young, I mean, they still have depth there. So I'm going with Washington, although the benefit for Lions fans is they're facing your offensive line. So strength on a strength. That's honestly the good news about this, but I'm still going with Washington. They're deeper at the defensive line.
Yeah,
it gets the quarterback,
it's
even
Washington,
without Chase Young.
100%, even without Chase Young. Yeah. It is Washington. Let's move to linebacker. Who's got the advantage on Sunday?
This is my biggest hole on the Detroit Lions, so I'm going with the Commanders. Now, the Commanders don't have any marquee linebackers. They have decent linebackers, though, better than the Lions right now. The Lions have unproven. If you're talking about Malcolm Rodriguez, he played well week 1, but I'm not going to put him up there with, especially with a ton of other guys in the league. So right now, the Commanders are the better team with the better linebackers.
Again, agreed. Not much I can add there. Yeah. Secondary.
Honestly, I like what the Lions have. They have young, like Jeff Okudah played well. I love Tracy Walker. He had a really good game before he was ejected last week. And Amani Oruwariye, I think, is one of the most underrated players in the league. So, I'm gonna go with the Lions on this one, just because I think they have the guys that can, especially a Jeff Okudah, if he can follow up that performance. They got 2 really good corners, and they have a good safety. And they got Deshaun Elliott, who's, he's solid. I'm going to go with the Lions on this one, but it's not like it's head and shoulders above the Washington Commanders.
Again, you know what's funny? We're going through this entire list, and you can make an argument for either team, and I think that just tells you how close Sunday will be.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's
a very winnable game. You are at home.
And Amani,
this is what we're talking
about. And Amani
about.
didn't have a great performance last week, so he's got a lot to prove. But if he doesn't play, it's the Commanders.
All right, the last thing we're going to do. Coaching. Going into Sunday, who has the advantage?
I mean,
be very honest about this.
It's Ron Rivera. I mean, I'm honest. The guy's been in the league for quite some time. He's proven. He's took a team to the Super Bowl with Cam Newton. And despite everything, even with Taylor Heineke at quarterback at him, they won 8 games last year. 7 or 8 games? So he's proven he can win with different quarterbacks. So I'm going to go with Ron Rivera. Dan Campbell just hasn't proven it yet.
I think the team that has the advantage in coaching on Sunday, as much as I think Ron Rivera is right now more experienced, more tenured, more accomplished, more maybe prepared than the Detroit Lions are with Dan Campbell, I'm going to give the Lions coaching staff the advantage going into Sunday. I'm more confident with the game plan they will have for Washington than I believe Washington will have a game plan for Detroit. I'm going to side with Detroit on this one. Not the easiest thing because, again, Ron Rivera, you would check the box for Ron over Dan any day right now. Dan is not proven yet. But I would give the advantage. I think Ben Johnson and the offense will have their way with Washington. Expect Detroit really to put somewhere between 28 and 31 points up on the board. We'll go full score predictions later, but I'm very, very, very confident.
So, and if you want to,
should be 10-7 Lions.
If you want to,
Fish, shut the fuck up.
Fish, I love the enthusiasm. But the reality is, are you talking coaching staff or head coach? Because coaching staff,
Yeah.
Lions have a deep coaching staff, but I think the one who's making the decisions, who do you trust? Who do you trust? Because Ben Johnson isn't making these decisions.
Ron Rivera.
So that's how I answered it.
Okay, that's fair.
But I get where you're coming from. I think the Lions have a deeper coaching staff. I like it. Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, to me, are guys that can become head coaches in the future. So we'll see. But I'm going to lean Ron Rivera. From a head coaching perspective, decision-making.
From a head coaching standpoint,
from decision-making.
Yeah. I'm confident in the coaching staff of the team as a unit.
Yeah, and I agree. I feel you on that.
They, again, not even that they've shown me. They have no choice, number one. Number two, the offense will be there. So it's on Aaron Glenn to get his defense to make a few more stops than they did against Philly. And it's on Dan Campbell not to go take the rifle out of the woodshed and shoot the team in the foot. That's it.
Right.
And you're probably walking away on Sunday with a win. When we get back, 8:45, we will be discussing what Dan Campbell said about the fans, how they plan on keeping the support moving forward with the team. Are we overreacting to the loss against Philly? All that and much more when we get back. But before we do, I got to tell you about Planet Fitness, home of the Judgment Free Zone, the official studio sponsor of the Woodward Sports Network. So make sure you go sign up today for $0 down, $10 a month. Your fitness is essential. Get to any local Planet Fitness near you or visit planetfitness.com to sign up today.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
At Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. You have a big project coming up, Alta Rent has you covered. Call them today, 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA today.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show, 8:45. Jeff Iafrate, Adham Beydoun, live on the Woodward Sports website. Jeff, let's get two things straight right now. Would we agree that there was not an overreaction on Monday to the loss against Philly, or do you think we stepped out of line? Not as individuals, just in general.
I don't think it was an overreaction. I think it was just, for me, judging by my reaction during the game, I was frustrated. But the more I thought about it and rewatched the game, for me, I think I was a little too hard on specific decisions, like the onside kick. I just didn't. I feel like that.
Oh, fuck no.
Yeah, I
had every right to criticize it.
No, I really don't think so, because of how the game was going. Like, they scored pretty much every single time in the end zone, and now you're gonna be mad that he's attempting to get the ball back. Like, they were down.
It worked 18% of the time in 2021, 4% of the time in 2020.
No, I get that, but he made the decision.
And it was a
whether you
horrible
agree with it or not.
Imagine I told you.
Now, if he continuously does this, I have a problem with it. But against the Eagles, you're down big time. I mean, I'm not too mad about it.
To your argument,
Yeah.
the Eagles were scoring at will, correct? You hadn't stopped them since the first quarter. Fair? Okay. So how do you make a decision where the likelihood of success is already small enough?
Right.
And then you're going to give that very same team, which has been killing you, short field position to work with, and sit here and say, oh, I trusted my defense. If you trusted your defense, kick it off. Kick it off.
No, I get that.
I can't.
But at the same time, I think regardless, the Eagles were, they got a field goal after that. So
no, they scored a touchdown.
Again,
after the onside, they made it a 17-point game.
So again,
and he gave them 3 points before the half, too.
No, the timeout, I think I had more issue with, but the onside kick, I think we're just, at this point, if you want to disagree with it, that's fine. But to say that's what you took from the game was that onside kick, I just think, like, overall, the defense gave up 38. Like, that's my concern. And I get the onside didn't necessarily help, but it was hard to stop the Eagles. So I don't blame Dan for trying. Obviously,
you were stopping them just
hindsight
fine.
2020.
You were stopping them in the first quarter. You had momentum. You had just scored a touchdown. The building, the fans were all in your favor.
What about the second quarter?
Second quarter was a disaster.
They scored 24 straight.
But you had proven it's not like every possession they were scoring.
But the second and third quarter.
The second quarter, you had made a few stops, and then your dumbass coach decided to call a timeout instead of letting the clock run out and go down in a half, 7 points.
Yeah, a few stops.
But he was greedy.
He still gave up 24 points.
No. We're not fucking doing this. Fuck this. No way. No way. Your coach was a greedy bastard before halftime and thought, you know what? I'm gonna get a possession here. Second and 14. Timeout. Hey, timeout. Oh shit! They went and scored 3. Now we're down 10. So you lost the possession there. You come out of halftime, you make your adjustments. They go right down the field and score. Now you're down 3 possessions.
Yep.
Oh, and now you're gonna have the balls. Hell, you're gonna have the gall to sit up there in a presser and say, I felt like we needed to steal a possession there. You had to steal a possession because your dumbass decided to give them free points. That's why.
They were getting free points regardless.
No, Jeff, no. If you would have let the clock run out, even if Philly came out at half and blew you up and scored the same way they did it, and they were up 14, is that not a 2-possession game? So then when you follow it up with a touchdown, it is a 1-possession game. Much more manageable than a 2-possession game. No, the excuses we make, I am not having it. Your decisions from the first half up until that moment where you kicked an onside kick, that is on you. You wanted to, quote, steal an extra possession because you gave the fucking team 2 extra ones. Whose fault is that? My fault? The fans' fault? Fuck off.
I don't know, man.
Fuck off.
Well, speaking of overreaction, I think you're the front and center of that. For me, I get it. If you want to disagree with it, I think Dan's, I don't know if it is kind of a problem. He trusts his players too much. Like, you got to understand your defense has not been stopping the Eagles all game. So I get where you're coming from. But from his perspective, the Eagles are scoring pretty much at will the second and third quarter. And I get they didn't help him. But I'm not mad at the decision. You attempt to get the ball back. If you got the ball back, we'd all be sitting here going, man, that was a gutsy call. Dan, that was a gutsy call. You got the ball back, but he didn't. So now we're sitting here crapping on Dan. I just don't see it
and
as...
if my mother had a dick, she would be my father.
Okay, how does that have to...
if they would have got it.
What is that?
If they would have got it. How many times do I have to... Well, if Dan Campbell would have got the onside kick, you would be praising him. Yeah, welcome to the NFL. Execution. 1, they didn't execute. 2, they took a extremely high risk for immediate reward, one possession? You want to talk about one possession? How about the one possession before half that you gave Philly, who were happy to go into the break down 7, or excuse me, up 7. But you wanted the ball back one more time. And it's actually that possession that forced you to make a dumbass decision later. And you just keep shooting yourself in the foot and shooting yourself in the foot and shooting yourself in the foot. So to Dan Campbell's point, winning will keep the support and the fans. I agree. I agree. Stop shooting yourselves in the foot. Stop. Do we agree they're not as talented as you'd like them to be on defense? Do we agree?
We agree.
Okay. Do we agree that this is a team that anywhere from 6 to 8 wins was probably the best case scenario, worst to best case scenario for a team with the schedule they have, and 9 home games out of 17? I would say we agree, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So if we agree on that, why are you getting in your own way in a game where you had every opportunity to be in?
I don't.
Could have been down 7. You could have gotten the onside kick. Everything's coulda, shoulda, woulda. Except there's teams that actually do it.
I know, but Adam, you're acting like this game was. I mean, they played catch up in the fourth quarter. Like they lost by 3, but the game wasn't as close as the ending score was. Like, I don't get what you were seeing. Like, I get the decision you're upset about it.
I'll tell you what I saw. Let me walk you through my actual.
I saw a Lions defense
I'll tell you my live feedback quarter by quarter. You ready?
Okay. All right.
First quarter, Lions get the ball, touchdown. Damn, place is rocking. Things are looking good, right? That's exactly what you would expect from the offense. DeAndre Swift, what? 50-yard run, 60-yard run, whatever it was. Feeling good about the team. Eagles get the ball back. You know what happens, Jeff? A turnover on downs. And it is in that moment the Lions must pounce. And they didn't. And it was a 3-and-out. And another 3-and-out. And another 3-and-out.
Right.
Meanwhile, your defense was giving up points after points after points. And that pick 6 did not help at all in the second quarter. And you're only down 7. You lost the second quarter. Excuse me. You lost the second quarter 21-7. That's 21-7. You gave up 21 points in the second quarter.
It's like 24.
Wait, and you could have gone into halftime only down 7.
Right.
But you wanted the ball back one more time. Who's the jackass, you or me? They go down and score. They burn you with A.J. Brown. Okay. You come out at halftime, you make your adjustments, they run straight down the field, no problems. Touchdown. Now you're down 3 possessions instead of 2. The Lions offense starts to click. DJ Chark, the run game, it continues. You go down and get 7. Onside kick, you give them a short field, they score again. So now you're down 3 again, and then you get 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, but it is too late. It is too late. That was the story of the game.
I get that, but did you heard Dan's explanation for it, right? About the onside.
Yeah, he felt like they needed one more possession.
And
whose fault is that?
And he also felt like Philly, if they got the ball, if they kicked the ball off normally, Philly would have drained the clock. So they would have scored regardless.
He can't talk out of both sides of his ass, though. He can't say, I trust my defense, and then, I'm fearful that if I kick it off, Philly's going to waste 6, 7, 8 minutes. You can't have it both ways.
Well, he said he trusts his defense to make a play. He could turn the ball over.
They probably still would have scored. He said, I felt like we were going to make a turnover. I felt. Everything's a feeling. I felt.
Trust his players. But I get where you're coming from.
I don't know how.
I just disagree with the fact that decision alone, like, let's say he does kick it off, the Eagles waste 6, 7 minutes, they end up scoring anyway. This all doesn't matter. Like, you're just mad that the decision was made to do an onside kick. They scored quickly. Like, I get that.
You're giving a team, again, here's the difference.
They're playing catch up. The Lions always do that.
No.
Come on, explain.
Jeff, again, you could have gone in down 1 possession. You gave them an extra one. Your fault that you were down an extra possession. You go into the third quarter. Yes, they do go down and score. Yes, you go back and answer it with another touchdown, and you're only down 10 at this point. You still have an entire quarter to catch up 2 possessions. It was not 7 minutes left, you're down 17, or you're down 10, and you know what? If we give the ball back here, we're probably not going to get another possession. You were in the third quarter. And when you gave Philly a short field, What's the difference between starting at the 25 and midfield? If they get 2 first downs, let's say they get 2 first downs, Jeff. They're still not even crossing midfield yet, technically, if you go 10 yards by 10 yards. So you can force a punt. If you get 2 first downs from midfield, you're in field goal range. You're in scoring range. It makes no sense. It just doesn't. No one could ever convince me otherwise. And it's not just about the execution. Dan Campbell, when he went for the 2-point conversion against Minnesota, the game they lost early on, I believe it was week 7, week 8, at Minnesota. Remember that? Literally the exact conversation we had was, we love the play call, even if the Lions wouldn't have made it. The fact that they went out to win would have been the best thing ever. It was perfect. Love the play call. Execution aside, you don't love that onside kick. I don't, at least. I don't.
It's okay.
Having said that, look, I think there is no overreaction to the loss. I think that was a game that was there for the taking early on. You had every opportunity. You had a playoff atmosphere. You had arguably your best player on defense get ejected. That did not help.
No.
You had a defensive front that really didn't put any pressure. And I'm sorry, all of you people at home that are crying on Twitter, oh, Adam, what game were you watching? They got a lot of pressure. God bless your little brains and enjoy watching football on Sundays, because I'm not sure what you were watching either. The idea of stealing a possession, or that I wanted the ball back, to quote Dan Campbell. Okay, fine. I can respect that. I can respect that comment. Have something in place for your defense to make a play. Or, I don't know, how about not give them an extra possession before half, which ended up being the difference because you only lost by 3. Kills me, man. It kills me. So no, I don't think it's an overreaction. And I don't think it's an overreaction to say Washington is a must-win, because who wants to start the season 0-2? Who wants to start with 2 home games and lose them both?
No,
and then have to travel to Minnesota.
And I agree with you there.
Is that fair?
I just think, in the overreaction, what I mean is to take away from that game, I think there was a lot of things good you could take away, offensively especially. But to focus on that onside kick, I get if you disagree with it, but I'm not going to overreact until these decisions, Adam, keep piling up. If he's going for onsides and we're through 5 weeks of the season, I could see it.
So it's okay if I shoot myself week 1, but as long as I don't do it for the rest of the year.
Well, against a significantly better team and you're getting absolutely destroyed in the second and third quarter, yeah. I mean, I don't blame. I'm not mad about it. And you want to pull up, they only lost by 3 at the end of the game. Well, yeah, they did at the end of the game. What about the possessions before that, or the quarter before that? Like the game was out of their hands at that point.
The third quarter was a wash because there were literally only 2 possessions, realistically.
Right.
The Philly went on for a drive, and then the Lions went on for a drive. It took a massive amount of the time off the board. There was probably 3.5 minutes left when the Lions were ready to kick off, which ended up being an onside kick. Okay? You were only down 10. It is not out of conventional wisdom to say, let's kick it off here, and let's try to get a stop. And if you get 2, 3, 4 first downs, you still can. There's still a possibility you can force a punt, even if it does drain 6, 7 minutes, 8 minutes in his theory.
Yeah, I'm not saying
if they drain 8 minutes and they kick it off in the third quarter, like Dan Campbell says, how much time is left in the game when the Lions get the ball back?
Are you asking me?
Yeah,
I don't know. The Eagles probably drain 6 minutes.
They would have 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter. 3 minutes for the third quarter, and then 4 in the fourth. So you have 11 minutes left. With 11 minutes left, down 10, you have the ball with 2 timeouts, because you decided to call a timeout and get burnt on the next play early in the third. But whatever, forget about that for now.
It's all right.
When are you going to learn? When are you going to learn? Honestly.
It's okay, they're fine. It's week 1.
Top of the hour coming up. Keys to victory between the Washington Commanders and the Detroit Lions. 9:17, we'll get to the UConn-Michigan game. Michigan State visiting Washington. They are 3.5-point underdogs. So we'll get to all that and more in just a bit. But before we do, I got to tell you about the Mulligan, the official drink of the summer. That's right. The Mulligan is iced tea, lemonade mixed with gypsy vodka. It is the ultimate drink, whether you're on Sundays, you're hanging out watching the game with your friends, or you're out on the golf course maybe and you're trying to have a good time. The Mulligan is the go-to drink. Again, iced tea, lemonade, gypsy vodka mixed, 8% alcohol. Make sure you drink responsibly.
You're an ugly guy, and that's okay because you've outkicked your coverage with your significant other. Well, that's good news for you. Their hotness and your notness could get you front row tickets. The Woodward Sports Network is giving you a chance to sit front row for the Detroit versus Washington football game. That's right. We're looking for the ugliest guy and the hottest girl. So fellas, come on. If you know you've outkicked your coverage, here's your chance. Post a pic of you and your superior-looking partner on Twitter or Instagram with hashtag Woodward Front Row. Follow us and tag @Woodward Sports. Hurry, because we'll be selecting a winner September 16th. We can't wait to see you. Well, her. From the network that always outkicks the competition. Woodward Sports.
For a limited time only, all new burgers and loaded fries at Big Boy. It's not a Slim Jim, it's the Big Jim. The chili cheese is such a tease. Guess what else is new? The bacon blue. How about upgrading those fries? Chili cheese fries, baked potato fries, nacho fries, what will it be? Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer, Academy of Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new field house. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Houghton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Let me tell you about our friends at Big Frog. Because, guys, you can get a free Woodward Sports t-shirt. That's right. A free Woodward Sports t-shirt all month long at Big Frog in Novi. Just stop in, tell them we sent you, and they'll print one out for you on the spot. So go to Big Frog in Novi today. Get your free t-shirt, or you can visit them online at bigfrog.com/Novi.
All right, we're back. Top of the hour, brought to you by our good friends over at Bedrock Detroit. Jeff, Washington, and the Lions' keys to victories. I'll start with the first one. I think is so important: time of possession. Time of possession. They lost it against Philly. Mm-hmm. Philly is one of the few teams in the NFL, in my opinion, that can match up with the Lions in terms of controlling time of possession. I think the Lions have the advantage here. I think 37-27 is what I'm looking for in the differential of time of possession. I think 6 more minutes, even 7 more minutes than Washington. The Lions should have the ball. Give me time of possession as one of the keys to victory.
Mine also is going to be winning the turnover battle. Got to win the turnover battle last week. They lost. The Eagles didn't turn the ball over once. Jared Goff threw that pick 6. I get T. Jackson ran the wrong route, but still, it's a pick 6. Got to clean that up and win the turnover battle. So that's going to be my next thing. The Lions got to do to win.
All right, another key to victory is also managing the people we interact with. Benji says, I've been on the 3-year rebuild. I just think social media Lions fans who are impatient and guys like Adam are going to run the staff and GM out of the building. Benji, you're a dumb motherfucker, dude. And I'll tell you why. It's year 2. You should show improvement from year 1 to year 2 as a coach, as a team, as players. This is just the reality of the NFL. And actually, in the NFL, every 3 years, you should be competing or winning your division. That is a known fact.
Right.
And on top of it, usually in your second year, you see a significant jump. Then your first year, and then, of course, there's the coaches who just walk in and do everything the right way. But, hey, you know what? What do we know, right?
But they did show some improvement week 1.
Who did?
DeAndre Swift.
Okay.
Keep going. Tracy Walker before he was ejected.
Okay.
Jeff Okudah.
Okay, but we're going to leave out one very important piece.
Who?
The coaches did not look like they improved.
Ben Johnson?
Same mistakes from last year.
So Ben Johnson didn't look good?
Ben Johnson, they struggled in the first half, and I think in the second half they were really good. But this is a first-year guy. It's not like he's improving from something. It's his first year. I'm not worried about Ben Johnson.
Okay,
Tell
so
me
now
the
we're not
coach is
worried
making
about
the same mistakes from last year.
Like, what mistake? Aaron Glenn,
The timeout before halftime.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. I'll give it. I'll let you have it. It's
the
okay.
timeout to start the third quarter, and then to get beat on the play following.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, we literally saw this against Baltimore.
It's like listen. It's like the famous Sean quote. You could rotate turds, but they're still turds. Like defensively, they're not very good. So if you want to blame Aaron Glenn for his coaching performance, go ahead. Go ahead. But we'll move on. Dan Campbell, I agree.
You're going to be the end of me, Jeff. You're
decision
going to be the end
making.
of me. All right, next key to victory. I think this is actually probably one of the more difficult decisions I had to make on what the keys to victory are.
Mm-hmm.
I think from Washington's standpoint, they really, really have to take advantage of a young defensive front and a linebacking core that is one of your bigger concerns.
Yeah.
Antonio Gibson, what they do, whether it's Curtis Samuel in the backfield, Antonio Gibson as a receiving back, which we saw week 1 against Jacksonville,
right.
That is going to be their primary emphasis. I don't think if it's as simple as, if Terry McLaurin has a good game receiving, they're going to win the game. I don't think it's that cut and dry. I think it's Curtis Samuel and Antonio Gibson who are going to have games like they had against Jacksonville for Washington to have a chance. But for the Lions, it's obvious, Jeff. Run the football. Run the football. DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, Craig Reynolds, whoever it has to be, run the football. Control time of possession. Limit the amount of possessions the opposing team can get. Give your defense a well-needed rest, and go from there. I think the run game is going to play the biggest part of this team winning a football game.
I'm right with you. That was it for me last week against the Eagles. You got to run the football, and they did that. And they gave him a chance. With DeAndre Swift, I'd like him to get a little more carries, but we'll see. We'll see how the run game looks. It's a good defensive line with Washington, so I'm curious. But no doubt, that's going to be how the Lions win pretty much every single game, is getting the run game established. You didn't see a lot of play action last week with Ben Johnson, and I know they want to get better at that, get that implemented a lot more, because Jared Goff is one of the best play-action quarterbacks, so that's where he finds success. So you got to run the football. I'm with you, Adam. That's the key to success for number one.
All right. An individual that I think will have to play a very good game will be Jared Goff. You can't afford turnovers. Granted, the pick six was miscommunication between him and his receiver,
but still
which was Hawkinson, but still, that hurts.
Yeah.
And it ended up in points. That's the worst thing you can do. So no turnovers from Jared Goff. He's got to come out better. Can't have a first half like he had. I think with 5 minutes left in the first half, he was like 4 of 11 for 23 yards or something like. It was really bad.
Yeah.
It was really bad in the first half. He did make up for it in the second half, but that needs to be more consistent. The conversation we had about Jared Goff before the season was he's an average quarterback, fair?
Yeah.
And what do you get out of average quarterbacks? You get weeks where they're really good, you get weeks where they're really bad, and then most of the time they're just here. And that's what makes them average, right? They can't keep a certain level of eliteness or, greatness for a sustained amount of time.
Right.
I think Goff's going to have a good game for the Lions to win this.
And not just Goff, too. You saw last week a lot of drop balls as well. I think it was like 2 on Amon-Ra St. Brown, which is like unheard of. So got to do a better job just cleaning up some things offensively. I'm not too worried about the offense. I know Jared Goff this week, you want him to be more efficient, not turn the ball over. But for me, the key to victory is defensively. Like, if you can get after Carson Wentz, you have to pressure Carson. That's the thing I'm looking for the most. You have a worse offensive line. You don't have a mobile quarterback you're facing. And Aiden Hutchinson's looking to have a bounce-back performance. Same with Charles Harris and the rest of that defensive line. So I'm going to go with, on defense, they got to get to the quarterback. And at least, you don't have to. I don't think they're going to completely shut down the run, but you at least have to slow the run down, because you can't let Antonio Gibson beat you on the ground. So I'm going to go getting after the quarterback for me on defense is a must this week.
Fair enough. Aiden Hutchinson is going to have a better game.
Oh, yeah.
He was non-existent. You really want to be a fanboy and cry and say, well, he got in the backfield. Fine. Take your wins. I still think he's going to be a great player. I love the pick. He's going to have a better game. He's going to need to get after the quarterback. He was middle of the pack. I want to say he was 15th, I believe, in run support across the league in terms of edge rushers. For run support, so he was good on the run, but the passing, you got to have contain. Wentz can beat you with his legs, maybe not to the extent of Hurts, but I expect a more disciplined Aiden Hutchinson. I expect a more physical one. There were a few times at the goal line he was He was just overmatched.
Yeah.
That needs to change.
And they doubled him, too, with Philly, which was actually surprising.
Yeah, they gave him respect, absolutely. Hutchinson's going to have a big game. And I think the last one for me that is the most important, stay out of your own way. Don't give them extra possessions. That can be on the turnover battle. That could be on coaching decisions to maybe encourage a team or sway them one way or the other. Don't give them extra possessions.
Yeah.
Don't give them short field position. You have a punter who has the NFL record, I believe, for net yards on a punt on average. Take advantage of him and pin teams back. Yes, Philly dominated. Yes, they had a great second quarter. Against Washington, this is not Jalen Hurts. You have an opportunity to win this game. Limit the amount of extra possessions you give Washington, because that will end up being the difference. I think it's going to be a close game. We'll get to the predictions later, but for me, possessions. Don't shoot yourself in the foot. Don't hand them anything easy. Don't throw a red zone interception and leave points on the board. Don't turn the ball over at your own 20, your own 30, your own 40, and give them a short field to play with. Be smart. 0 turnovers is a must, and I think you can beat Washington by doing that.
And I think so also against Washington. I don't think there'll be a reason to go for an onside kick. I don't think Washington's going to blow out the Lions. So for me, I'm with you. Staying clean, making the right decisions, not giving away possessions, and also hurting your team. I mean, that's the thing against Washington that's different from the Eagles. I don't see Washington scoring 24 in the second quarter, and following it up with a third quarter as well. So for me, Washington is a much more evenly matched team. I don't think there's going to be a reason to go for those decisions, but I'm with you, Adam. You can't put your team in tough spots. You can't shoot yourself in the foot, so that's going to be important.
Fair enough. Well, when we get back, Michigan hosts UConn, 47-point favorites. J.J. McCarthy, a Heisman frontrunner?
Mine is 47. My God.
Yeah, they're going to have to cover 47 points. I think they'll do it, by the way. But I'm not putting money on that game. Those numbers are way too high. I learned my lesson against Hawaii. Just unnecessary. Very, very difficult. But the 47 is intriguing. But beyond that, Jeff, we got to talk about J.J. McCarthy, Michigan State. We'll preview all of college football coming up in just a bit. But before we do, Jeff, our good friends over at the Sports Marketing Agency.
Guys, let me tell you, the Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the F Word, helps spread awareness of fentanyl and other addictions. They let people know that it's okay to not be okay. Go to thesportsma.com if you're struggling or know someone who is.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Detroit's downtown summer playground is back. Open all summer long, the Monroe Street Midway. Enjoy roller skating, free Wi-Fi, food trucks, art installations, and so much more. Don't forget to take advantage of the basketball court, putt-putt, and, of course, family programming all summer long. All art installations are done by Detroit artists, and it's a fun, safe event from people 1 to 100. Go to deckedoutdetroit.com.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Jeff Iafrate here. I'm going to tell you about our friends at the Fulling Warehouse in Hamtramck because, guys, it's the home of the original football bowling game. You have 2 to play for $12, the unlimited open play, or you can spend $120, get a lane reservation for up to 10 people. $2 Mr. Beer machine and a full bar. Check it out. FullingWarehouse.com. Welcome back, guys, to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. If you haven't already, drop a like, support the show. I do want to get into this Michigan game versus UConn. Minus 47, Michigan big, heavy favorites. And I do want to ask you guys, I want to go to the people, and I want to ask, because this is a conversation I've been having with Braylon, with Ryan as well. Do you guys have any issue with the schedule Michigan's playing? They're facing UConn.
Everyone does.
It's going to be a complete blowout. And J.J. McCarthy, the Heisman talk, it's already getting, Neil had his notorious clip yesterday where he addressed all those guys talking about the Heisman race.
Yeah.
For me, with Michigan and UConn, I actually don't mind teams playing, having a schedule like Michigan because, again, that's how it's set up to make the college football playoff. I think it's better off for them to face teams like UConn, face teams like Hawaii, even face teams like Maryland. Just because in the long run, you saw what it almost did to Alabama versus Texas. I got no issue with their schedule, to be honest with you. I get, Washington facing Michigan State. People are talking about Michigan State Washington and how it's a trap game for Michigan State. But last year, Michigan absolutely blew the socks off of Washington. So this week against UConn and JJ, I mean, I'm expecting another big performance out of JJ. We'll see if Cade McNamara comes in the game as well. It is at home. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it at home? At the big house?
They're at home. Yep.
So they're at home. I'm curious to see how the Michigan fans, the Michigan faithful.
They have 8 home games this year, Jeff. 8 out of 12. 8.
Yeah, well, at the same time, that's the reality of it. For me, if I'm a Michigan fan, I have no problem with it. But again, JJ, I think he's going to have another really good performance. He got taken out early last game. I think that'll happen again. They're going to be up a lot. I see Booner in the chat. Michigan minus 11.5 first quarter. That sounds about right. I'm taking that bet, Booner. I'm right with you. But again, I want you to put the poll in the chat, Alex. Do you have a problem with Michigan's schedule, the amount of home games and the lack of pushback you have from UConn, from Hawaii, just how terrible the schedule is? I don't really have an issue with it. And I think you're going to take care of UConn. You have Maryland. You really essentially have a 2-game regular season. I mean, if you want to call it that, Michigan State and Ohio State. And I really do believe Michigan's going to be undefeated heading into that Ohio State game. I really do believe that. I think Ohio State and Michigan are both going to be undefeated. I want to ask you guys, though, do you have a problem with Michigan's schedule and the lack of strength of schedule? Because for me, I like it. I don't have a problem with it. But I do want
every team in the SEC does it.
Yeah, and that's what I was. So the thing I talked about before you walked in is you look at Alabama. Look at what they almost did against Texas. If Quinn didn't get injured, Texas possibly would have won that game. Now you're looking at one loss for Alabama. It's at the same time, do you blame teams for having a schedule like Michigan? I don't, and that's how I feel about it. What about you?
This is college football. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and kill Michigan for it when Alabama plays, Citadel, Utah State. I mean, come on. Clemson played Furman last week. Do you know who the hell Furman is, Fish?
Yeah, I've heard of them before. They played.
Of course you did.
They
Fuck
played
off,
those SEC
man. But nobody
teams.
else did.
Hold on. They've played the other SEC teams before. This isn't their first time.
All right, well.
Furman, same thing with Coastal Carolina. They're not FCS, but they play them every year.
Long story short, these are tune-up games, guys, and that's the reality of college football. They're just tune-up games. You have to accept it, and that's it. It's that simple. I'm not going to stress it at all. I'm good. Not worried. Let them go out there and maul them. Good. Because once the Big Ten season schedule starts, nobody's going to care.
No.
Nobody's going to care. And if you want to give Michigan State credit and say, well, they played Northwestern on the road, Miami on the road last year, now they're going to Washington, that's fine. But Michigan have gone out of their way to play early games, so have Alabama. It just doesn't happen often because teams, why would they have no incentive right now to lose or possibly lose these games. You think Notre Dame booked Marshall with the expectation that they would lose that game? They booked Marshall thinking they would royally fist them.
Yeah, they paid him $1.5 million or something.
They gave him $1.5 million to come to town and get their asses kicked, and they didn't. Marshall ended up winning.
Same thing with A&M.
That's how it's set up, though. Like, if I'm Michigan, like, why? If I'm making the college football, if I want to make the college football playoff, like, of course, easier schedule is more preferred. Like, I'm going to beat up on these teams. You just worry that it's almost like you're getting through these teams with ease, and then you all of a sudden face, a Penn State or a Michigan State, and you get your first test at least. So we'll see. I don't have a problem with it. I think JJ's going to have a really good performance again. He's going to follow it up with probably another 3 or 4 touchdown passes again like he did last week. We'll see, though.
Yeah,
you think Cade gets in there again?
I'm glad the chat is saying they don't have a problem with it. You shouldn't. I'm sorry. Every team does it. It's not a Michigan problem. It's a college football problem. I'm not even worried. Look, they play UConn. J.J. McCarthy, by the way, he's moved up to, I think he has the 5th best odds to win the Heisman as of right now. I mean, I think it's Caleb Williams by a long shot at the moment. I think he is the clear favorite. He's done the most. He's impressed the most. Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, each have struggled. Granted, both of their teams are 2-0. It's Caleb Williams for me. If you want to throw J.J. McCarthy in the mix, be my guest, but I'm not interested in having that conversation with J.J. until he's gone through 4 or 5 games in the Big Ten schedule.
Yeah, that's...
Let's get there. Hawaii, again, we all agree. It was Hawaii. You were going to win that game anyways. I could have started at quarterback for you, and Michigan would have won that game. But the difference was McCarthy showed you his arm talent. He showed you his ability to drive the ball downfield, make unexpected throws. Those are the things you look for and that you want, and that's hopefully what you'll see tomorrow against UConn. Jeff?
I'm right with you. I think another thing you have to add to it on top of that is with JJ, if they're undefeated going into that Ohio State game and he's at quarterback and he's having a good year, like you might be able to hold that against him that he didn't play the first game. Caleb Williams played the entire season. I get he has Jordan Addison as well, which is probably an argument I could make for JJ McCarthy, is he doesn't have that premier wide receiver like Jordan Addison. It just depends how he looks. We'll see. But I think they're absolutely going to obliterate UConn. Minus 47, like... You probably take that line, to be honest with you. UConn and Hawaii were on the list of the top, 25 worst teams in college football. They both made that list. So
all 3 of them.
Yeah, all 3 of them.
All 3 of Michigan's first 3 games.
Yeah, and Colorado State. Yeah.
Colorado State, UConn, and Hawaii. I think it was 1 and 2 were Hawaii and Colorado State, and then 17 was UConn.
So, again, it's...
They have 3 bottom 17 teams.
It is what it is. They're going to beat up on UConn. I'm going to be watching J.J. McCarthy in this game, of course, and I'm going to be watching the wide receiver core because last week, right now, it's really a everybody eats wide receiver core. You have Roman Wilson, Cornelius Johnson, and Ronnie Bell. I'm curious to see who stands out as we get closer and closer to those big games. But until then, there's not really much to discuss here, Adam. They're going to beat the brakes off of UConn.
They're going to kill them. And you know what? Let's go to Michigan State. 3.5-point dogs. Vegas is not backing away. They are hell-bent on the idea that Washington will pull this game off. Washington is 2-0. Penix Jr., he has brought a whole different dynamic to an offense last year that was pathetic in Washington. This is not the Washington that showed up to the big house last year and got their asses kicked. This is a much better Washington football team. And this is going to be a tricky game. This is going to be a test for Mel Tucker early on in the season. I think it's a difficult game. Give me 3.5 points, of course, for Michigan State. I think the defensive front will show up. Michael Penix, they're going to have to do a good job of containing him. But if you would have told me before the year Peyton Thorne was going to struggle the first 2 games, but Michigan State would be 2-0, and there were positives with the run game, the defensive front, the secondary, I would take it. And then I would say, going into Washington, I need Peyton Thorne to be better, which I'm confident he is. He's shown me before that he can play to a certain level that I expect. And I think the defense will only get better. And like Mel Tucker said before the season, he's putting his name on the secondary this year. I'm very confident in the 3.5 points for Michigan State.
Yeah, I mean, this for me is the run game. I mean, you got to get Jalen Berger more, keep him having. Listen, you look at last week's performance by Jalen Berger. If you could follow that up and have another 100-yard game, 100-yard performance, I don't really have to be too concerned about Peyton Thorne. Just don't have Peyton Thorne do too much. I mean, he's still building that confidence. Now you're going to Washington to face an offense that's pretty good. I mean, Michael Penix, you say what you want about him. 6 touchdowns on the year, 1 interception. And they have McMillan as well, who has 214 yards receiving. So they can air the ball out. I know you see a guy like Penix, you assume he's going to beat you with his legs, but no, he's a good passer. I mean, this secondary for Michigan State is going to be tested. But if they can run the football, take care of the football, and their secondary can hold up, I think they can absolutely get the job done here at Washington.
Yeah, I'm going Sparty all the way.
Yeah.
You know, I did an alternate line at halftime yesterday for the Chargers. Or, excuse me, alternate line for the Chargers before the game, for the full game. And those alternate spreads, man, they pay out really well, guys. I would recommend it. I really would. They pay out well. So Michigan's, 3.5-point underdogs right now? I would consider taking them at 2.5 points as favorites. Maybe even 3.5, 4.5. If you think they're going to blow them out, go higher. But You know, those are always interesting bets, especially for underdog teams. Caleb Williams definitely could be the best quarterback in the nation by the end of the year. He has 2 elite wide receivers and 2 5-star running backs to take pressure off him too. He's got more than 1 year after this as well. You know, I hate to tell you guys, but I fucking told you so. And you sat here and, Lincoln Riley, his first year, they're going to be 6-6 and 7-5. Caleb Williams going to struggle. Do you know right now, USC, under Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams, are averaging more yards per play than the Oklahoma playoff team with Kyler Murray at quarterback? Do you know the defense at USC right now is giving up 2 yards less per play than the Oklahoma defense the year they went to the playoff? It would not surprise me one bit. This is the exact mold of a Lincoln Riley team. Dominant on offense, you don't trust the defense. And they are special on offense. They're going to be in every single game. And they're going to be able to make a run for a Pac-12 title. And if they do, the dude's going to be in a college football playoff his first year.
Yeah.
USC, hell of a start. Notre Dame isn't looking all that great, so I'm not too worried about Notre Dame on their schedule.
No.
Adam, their D isn't that great. It never is. I mean, that is literally the story on Lincoln Riley. The defenses are never great.
Even Oklahoma.
But the offenses are significantly greater. So, again, USC will be in the playoff. And it'll only be a matter of time before they get the talent on defense to where they where they can compete for a national championship. Let's see. I love USC. I love that USC and Texas are relevant. Sharp, I do agree. I'm actually with you on this. I love when a Texas, hear me out, Jeff, a Michigan, a USC, a Miami, some of the classic schools are good, are relevant.
Yeah, it's good for college football.
I think it's great for college football.
Yeah, I'm right with you. I'm right with you.
We'll take a quick pause. When we get back, who must perform? And the player I'm putting the most pressure on for Sunday, a guy that I am expecting to have his best game of the year, probably the best game he's put together in a Detroit Lions uniform. I'm putting all the pressure on him for this Sunday. I'm curious to see who you have. We'll do that at 9:29, and then, of course, at 9:41, we'll give away our predictions, and we'll get into Adam's 5 bets. I can't wait. These are the 5 bets of the weekend. Very excited. Definitely going to have a winning weekend this week. But before we go, I got to tell you about where I'll be getting my haircut the next time I need to get cleaned up, and that's at Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. They're awesome stylists to take care of you like they take care of me. Walk in anytime, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. No appointment necessary. Like I said, they're awesome, amazing stylists. Will take care of you like they take care of me. Get to a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's. It's wicked awesome.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
OddsTrader.com is the #1 site for your game day bets, play-by-play updates, live scores, and the best price on every game from multiple different sports books. Go to OddsTrader.com right now for your best bet.
And we are back here on the Morning Woodward Show, 9:29. Jeff, who must perform for the Detroit Lions for them to win on Sunday? And there's one player that comes to mind for me that I am absolutely putting the most pressure on. Jared Goff. Jared Goff, for me, offensively, is going to have one of his better games.
And
I'm not talking about I need a Patrick Mahomes stat line. I'm talking do not do what you did in the first half. Do what you did in the second half for a full game, or even slightly less than that. Give me 20 of 26, 20 of 28, 234, 255 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. You need to come out, not turn the ball over, convert on third down, and not cost your team field position or points. Jared Goff, for me, I am putting a big target on his back this week. Not in a bad way, but I really need Jared Goff to come out and play the football I expected him to play going into the year.
I get what you're saying. I just don't think, like, for Jared to have that type of performance, they got to run the football, like, effectively.
Well, they did against Philly, and he still
But
was butt
that was
cheeks.
on Jared. Yeah, you're right. But again, for me, to make this easier for Jared, he has to have a bounce back performance. I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm with you. I mean, he has to have a better performance than week one. But for me, it's the run game. It's DeAndre Swift. If he can follow that performance up, and it's different because with this defensive line and the Commanders, Philly has a really good defensive line. But with this defensive line as well with the Commanders, if you can run the football and make them play the run instead of Jared Goff dropping back and making it easier for these guys, especially with the banged-up offensive line, I'm going to go with the run game. I think if DeAndre can follow it up and have a really good performance, you're right, Jared can't turn the ball over. That's number one. But he didn't play well, and they still kind of had a chance last week. So for me, it's the run game. They got to be able to run the football and establish more play action. Establish play action much earlier because they didn't really attempt it much last week, and they kind of got away from it. So I'm with you. I think it's kind of like a half and half. They got to run the ball. They got to run the ball, and Jared can't have a performance like he did last week.
Again, there were positives I can take away from last week. They were 64% converting on third down, 9 of 14. 9 of 14 on converting on third down. Continue that trend. Do it in the next game. I told you before the year started, they were one of the worst teams. Actually, they were the worst team in the NFL last season, Jeff, and third down conversion percentage. They were bottom of the league.
Right.
I expected them to be top 15, to make a significant leap. Game 1, 9 of 14, awesome. You got to do it again. And I think, look, if your offense gives you anything similar to what they gave you against Philly, I mean, I might pull out my hair watching the offense put up points and the defense just not be able to make a stop or two. I think the defense has an opportunity to recover, play a better game than they did in the first game. I'm going to say turnover battle, probably really important, like we said in the keys to the game. That's why I'm putting so much pressure on Goff. No interceptions, no fumbles. Yep. Do not turn the ball over. Do your job. Play slightly above your level, and I think the Lions are in a great position to win on Sunday.
And I'm with you, by the way, and because if you look at last week, especially with Jared, we talked about this too before the season. Like, this offense is going to have to, I guess you could say, carry the defense. Like, you're going to have to keep these guys, especially the time of possession matters, like you said, and that involves also not getting off the field on third down. Like, you got to be able to convert third downs. They did it last week, but they did punt a lot, especially after that first touchdown drive. So that I'm with you. Offensively, the two players I'm looking at, we agree it's Jared Goff and it's the run game, because I know the run game is a given, but it's not only running the ball effectively is not a given. Like, you got to be able to. They can't run like they did last week every single week, but if you can do something close to that, it's going to set Jared off to be more successful. He just has to, like you said, not turn the ball over, be more efficient. But we'll see. We'll see. Defensively, the easy one for me, I'm curious to see what you have. But for me, defensively, it's Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, he has to have a bounce-back performance. This defensive line has to put pressure on Carson Wentz. That's a must, because you have Amani Warrior banged up. You're counting on Jeff Okudah to have a really good game, and I don't know if I could say that yet. Jeff has to prove it to me more. He had a good game last week, but can he follow it up? I'm going to go with the Lions' defensive line. They got to get to the quarterback. They got to be able to slow the run game down. So for me, it starts with Aiden Hutchinson, a guy who's already pretty good against the run. But last week, he didn't get a sack. I think he'll get one this week. So for me, on defense, it's Aiden Hutchinson. On offense, it's a mix between DeAndre Swift and Jared Goff.
On defense, I'm going to give the nod to Jeff Okudah. I want to see him on McLaurin the whole game. I want him to have another good game. Let's see what Jeff Okudah looks like in Game 2. Let's see if he takes Game 1, which was good, and follows it up with another good performance. That would be huge. I can't not agree, though. Hutch is going to have to be an X-factor player for this team. Sooner than later, the sooner the better.
Right.
All right, I do want to move on. Let's do game predictions. Okay. I thought long and hard about this. What kills me the most is I do believe Washington will struggle. My issue is, are the Lions going to put the game away, or are they going to allow Washington to keep it close? And as much as I want to say I'm confident that there's tons of opportunity on Sunday, Jeff, for the Lions to separate themselves, I can't go with more than 4 points. I can't. I want to, but I can't do it. I'm going to go Lions 27, Commanders 23. Lions win the game, improve the record to 1-1. I think they don't make a single turnover. I believe they force a few turnovers, and it's all the difference in the game against Washington.
Yeah, I'm with you. I have a field goal game as well. I have 24-21. I think the Lions get it done, but again, like they're so close in a lot of different areas, like especially at quarterback, comparable, I should say, in a lot of different areas. So I don't think the Lions are going to win by a touchdown. I think it'll be close, maybe a field goal, like you said, 4 points. I'm going to go with 24-21. I think the Lions pull it out at home. And again, it depends. Like I'm reading the injury report, and I see a lot of guys on it. Hopefully, you get an Amani Warrior playing. He's questionable, but
well, let's
on
see
top
what
of
the
that,
people think. Let's see what the people think.
On top of that, 24-21.
Alex, let's see what the people think. Who's going to win on Sunday, the Lions or the Commanders? You'll cast your vote. It'll be up in the chat in just a second. You're right, man. You're not wrong.
No, yeah, I don't see it.
But I got a 4-point game. You got a 3-point game. It's tough for me to give the Lions the separation I want to give them because I do believe they have the advantage in this game. There is not much that Washington brings outside of that pass rush, which you can control with the team you have.
And that wide receiver core.
You have a capable running game, which sets up play action, which really prevents and hurts opposing pass rushers from getting downfield to your quarterback.
Yeah, keep them on their toes.
I think it'll probably be overwhelmingly in the chat Lions, but I do want to read some scores off. 48-28, Jesus Christ, for the Lions. 38-35 Lions.
I don't think the Lions score 30 again.
Neither team.
I don't think either scores 30 again.
28-20 Lions. That is interesting. I don't mind that. 34-31 Washington. 27-13 Washington. Walker, I do not agree with that. That's too few points. 35-31 Lions. God, guys, you guys are giving up a lot of points. 45-21 for Washington, 31-24 for the Lions. Lions all day. Yeah, Anthony, they don't stop anyone in the second half last week to help the comeback. Good call, buddy. I'm not sure what I missed, but...
See, you see a lot of close games, though.
A lot of close games, a lot of 3-point, 4-point, 7-pointers.
People feel the same way about that.
28-17, that's an interesting score for the Lions. Commanders have a top 5 receiving core. Huh? And what? Where?
You said the Lions have a top 5 receiving core?
The Commanders.
Oh, the Commanders.
Huh?
No, not
the
top
Commanders
5.
aren't even top 15. What?
I don't think they're... You're telling me they're not top 15. Like, we'd have to go through and look,
okay,
but they're good.
The Bills?
Oh, God, we're going to go through 15 teams?
Yes. The Bills?
Yeah.
Bengals?
Yeah, I think the Bengals have the best wide receiver core in the league. So, that's my opinion on it.
The Cleveland Browns? Yes or no? Just answer.
No. They're up there, but yeah. I mean,
the Ravens?
It's just Amari Cooper.
It's just Amari Cooper. It's just Terry McLaurin.
And they have 2 guys that are pretty good as well. It's Curtis Samuel and Dotson.
I know, but I mean,
get
what
it.
do we?
I get
you know
it.
what I mean?
I get it.
Let's
it's
go
one
to the
game.
AFC East.
It's Dotson has to prove it more. I mean, I don't want to have
Dolphins
this
have a better receiving core.
They do. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We'd have to sit down and have a conversation about it. But I like the wide receiver core. I really do.
It's Curtis Samuel, who I'm not losing sleep over, even though he's a productive wide receiver.
Yeah, he is.
Jahan Dotson, who is a rookie, who's coming off an explosive debut. And then Terry McLaurin, who I think is phenomenal, but was limited to 2 catches and 54 yards against Jacksonville, one of which was a touchdown.
Right.
Chill out. It's not Jamar Chase and T. Higgins coming to town. It's not Tyreek Hill.
You said they're not top 15, right?
No.
So the Lions are what, 20s?
Yeah, they're somewhere between 18 and 22.
Yeah.
Same for the Commanders. They're relatively the same.
I would still because you're okay. All right, you're good. You say Curtis Samuel, I don't know what he's done, but DJ Chark,
a proven 1,000-yard receiver.
He's got 1,000. Curtis Samuel's got 900 before. So if you want to talk about a guy who's got 900, there you go.
That's fair.
And
That's
then
fair.
Josh Reynolds, what has he done in his career? Sorry, now I'm dogging
Josh
on guys.
Reynolds. Yeah, we're not.
So it's like, and that's your
Josh
third
Reynolds.
receiver. Like, so
who's Washington's? Jahan Dotson, unproven rookie.
2 touchdowns week 1. Like, I get it's week 1, but I'm telling you, all right, keep that energy. Keep that energy.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we get back, Adam's bet's coming up in just a bit. But before we do, Jeff, our good friends over at Cintron.
Let me tell you about our friends at Cintron, because, guys, Cintron is the official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings. They also have, as you can see, if you're watching on YouTube and not listening, you can see the Cintron 6-pack sampler box. They have cranberry, sugar-free, and original. You can pre-order your sampler box at CintronWorld.com/Red Wings. Get energized with Cintron.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader bet tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarthy on our side.
Lemieux and McCarthy, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
The Monroe Street Midway is open until the 25th, so you still have 9 days left to go down there. Have some good, fun times with your friends and family. Go downtown Detroit, roller skating, mini golf, art installations, live music, food trucks, and much, much more. It's a fun, safe event, and the summer is better at the Monroe Street Midway. Let's get into the bets. 2-3 last week, not the best week.
Garbage.
Fish, shut the fuck up. How about that? Mute your mic and shut the fuck up.
I told you what I told you what I felt like last week.
Fish,
just saying.
Fish, shut the fuck up.
Fish, you tell him to shut the fuck up.
I mean, you always gloat
Fish,
about your money.
I'm not going to say it again.
I don't see that money coming in.
Fish, I'm not going to say it again.
You better help the Bears don't beat the Packers.
Fish, shut
Hal will be paid on Monday.
Fish, enough.
Fish, you talk back to this son of a bitch. You do it.
He'll see Hal on Monday.
Fish, shut it. 5 bets of the weekend. We'll start with the first upset of the weekend. The New York Jets visiting the Cleveland Browns, plus 235 on the money line. You can get it. I love this game. Although I don't love the offense for the Jets, I do think they have enough on defense to keep it close with the Browns. I expect the Jets to win a close game. I'm going to go 20-17. Jets on the upset. Give me the money line there. We'll take the over on the points between the New England Patriots and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Patriots only scored 7 points. I don't expect that to be the case in Sunday's game. It's a 1 o'clock game. I'm liking it in Pittsburgh. I say 21-20. Patriots walk away with a close victory. No TJ Watt. I think that's going to make a big difference. Take the over on the points. I think it just hits barely over. Another upset, which will be a home upset, and you guys know how I feel about this. 1-0 on the year so far with home underdogs. Jacksonville Jaguars hosting the Indianapolis Colts. They almost made me look really good in week 1. I'm going to ride them again in week 2. I love the Jaguars this week. I don't like what the Colts have to offer. Michael Pittman is questionable. Matt Ryan, I'm not concerned with at all. I like what Trevor Lawrence looked like against Washington. He really showed a lot of positives. Doug Peterson and that offense, James Robinson, Travis Etienne, Marvin Jones. I like what I see out of Jacksonville. Take Jacksonville to upset the Indianapolis Colts at home in a divisional matchup. We'll go to the Rams versus the Falcons. I think this is probably one of the more popular bets going around NFL circles, which is the Rams to cover 9.5 points against an Atlanta Falcons team that put up a good fight against the Saints, but what are they going to do against that Rams defense? And Matthew Stafford and the Rams offense coming off a really bad week. You expect them. This is their get-right game. They're 0-1. They're not going to lose this game.
No.
You got to take the points here. I think you have to. I think they win by 10 exactly, actually. I have the Rams winning this game 27-17. And then the final bet of the day, we're going to go to the points again. Over on the points. Over 41.5 between Dallas and Cincinnati. It's in Dallas. Cincinnati, I think, will account for 35 of the points. I just need Dallas to score one touchdown, which I think they're more than capable of. I think they'll get a few garbage time points. Give me the over in this game. That is my lock of the week, is the over between the Bengals and the Cowboys. I'm very, very excited about it.
This is at Indianapolis, right?
At Jacksonville.
Oh.
And Indianapolis has struggled against Jacksonville on the road.
Do you think we always remember the famous thing we talk about on the show is narrative? Narrative matters. Do you think the narrative for the Colts going into this game is like
it's a must-win?
Back against the wall.
Oh yeah, it's a must-win for the Colts, and they won't win it.
I like that confidence.
Yeah,
I do.
They will not
I like
win.
the Colts this week.
I do not like what I see out of Indianapolis. To tie against Houston.
I think they made a mistake trading Carson for Matt Ryan, doing a quarterback swap just because things aren't going right. We'll see.
We'll have to see. Let's see what the chat thinks. Why is everyone so confident the Lions will beat Washington? Well, Tommy, let's see. The show is in downtown Birmingham, in the state of Michigan, outside of Metro Detroit. And a lot of the people that watch the show, roughly 70% of them, are from Michigan. So it's a lot of bias. That's why.
But it's also being realistic in a way. Like,
I don't think Washington is significantly better.
No,
in talent.
Now, if Washington wins, are we going to be shocked?
I don't want to do that.
I'm just saying.
What would shock
for
me?
the case?
Yes, I would be.
Okay,
I would be. You would lose to a team that is not so superior than you at home. I would be shocked.
If they lose a close game, you're going to be livid Monday.
It's just I'm going to be livid because when are you going to win these games? Right?
Well, context doesn't matter. We'll see.
I get
Decisions
it. You're not wrong. I'm
like
not
if you have a Brandon Staley type of coaching performance and
you're going to go out and you're going to cost your team again, or God knows what could happen. But it's not about overreacting. It's Washington is a winnable game.
It is.
I think most Washington fans would also agree that it's a winnable game for them on the road.
Bingo.
It's not overwhelmingly of a challenge. Neither is it for Detroit, though. I think it's very close. There's a reason why the spread's at 1.5. It's a very, very close game. It's a very close game. It could go either way. I think it's a 50-50. I'm going to side with the Lions on this one. Let's see. Adam, Colts lost to them end of the season last year to get booted from the playoff, sour taste in their mouth. I think the Colts will come off with a win after that tie. Yeah, I don't know. I have a very strong belief looking at the way Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson have worked together so far. I have a very strong belief that the Jaguars are going to surprise everybody in the AFC South. I really do. Let's see. What question? There was a question I wanted to get to, but I think I lost it in the chat. Oh, well. We'll
and
move
then look at Mark.
Go for it.
Mark says, Jeff is expecting 4 wins, it sounds like. What have I said to give...
Well, I gotta be honest, though. If you would have told me before the season, because you told me 8-9, right?
Yeah.
That was your prediction.
Yeah.
You said 8-9. If I would have told you they started 0-2, would you be confident in 8-9, given the back end of the schedule is really difficult?
No, I'm with you.
I
have them. Okay, if you want to go off what I have, technically I have them beating Washington. You can go check that out on Jeff Gentry. I already went through it.
No, I'm not worried
so
about that.
They're beating
what I'm
Washington
explaining is his side, because from his POV, it's if they're going to start 0-2.
Okay, so let me get this straight. If you go 0-2, you're winning 4 games.
No. Again, I just wanted to explain to you.
Yeah.
So you start 0-2. It's not a great start. You're probably going to be 0-3 after Minnesota.
Even if you go 0-3, you're still winning 4 games.
Again, winning 4 games is not an accomplishment. Nobody wants
right,
to.
I know.
Yeah.
There's teams not going to win 4 games.
We're on the same page.
Yeah.
I already know what you think of this team, but
I'm just saying you could still go 0-2 and win 6 games. Like whatever. I just had to.
Fair enough.
Had to acknowledge that.
Fair enough. Well, everybody in the chat, make sure you get your questions written down. Type them up in the chat. We'll be answering them in just a minute. But before we do, Jeff, the best defense on and off the field.
Well, we talk about this Lions defense, and they got to be much improved this week against Washington. But Guardian Alarm is always much improved. Guardian Alarm, let Guardian Alarm give you peace of mind while you're out enjoying the sunshine while it still lasts for a little bit longer. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT today, and you can rest easy knowing you have 24/7 protection. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Adham and Jeff,
Let them know your friends at Woodward Sports sent you.
Bolted shot, no ins, no outs.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
All right, we're back for Mailbag here on the Morning Woodward Show, 9:52 on a beautiful Friday morning. Let's start with the questions in the chat that we have. Will you two still be drunk off the Kool-Aid after an 0-6 start?
What does that mean? Okay, Grim.
Don't. I got you, Jeff. I got you.
What the hell Kool-Aid are we drinking?
I got you.
Do you watch the show?
No, I got you. Don't worry, Jeff.
Okay, please.
All right. Please. You know what I'll be doing when they're 0-6, Grim, if they are 0-6?
Laughing?
I'll be putting my feet up on the desk laughing. I'll be laughing, and I won't give a single
Yeah, we're going to be sitting up crying. No,
who will have the best game for the Lions versus Washington? That's from Peter.
Who have the best game for the Lions versus Washington? Offensively and defensively?
Just in general, full team. You got to pick one player.
I'll go Aiden Hutchinson. I think he's got the most to gain from his performance. So
I'm going to go Jared Goff. I'm going to stick with Jared Goff. I think he's going to have a really good game. All right, let's see. We gave Wentz his first loss. Now we got to give the Commanders theirs as well. Did we? We did back in Philly, didn't we? God, good memory. Good memory. Let's see. I'm new to your show, and I'm a big fan. Love listening to your show. Thank you, David. We appreciate it.
David, appreciate it.
Adam, are you the president of the JJ fan club? Fish, shut the hell up. Adam, are you the president of the JJ fan club? Not the fan club, but I definitely am the president of getting that kid to be the goddamn starting quarterback. Because I was calling it hell before the season started, even last year. So we don't have to get into this.
And one thing too, like just because I like the talent JJ has, doesn't mean you have to be in a fan club. Like you can acknowledge talent. The guy's talented. So I like JJ McCarthy.
All right, let's get Jesse Adams. Jesse says, Adam, who are you taking, BYU or Oregon? You know, I thought of it, Jesse. I'm not going to bet you on it because it's a tough call. It really is.
The Baylor one
It
was
really
tough
is. Is it Baylor or Oregon at home? That's going to decide.
I believe Oregon's at home.
If it's Oregon at home, that's a tough call. Second question, Jeff, who are you taking this weekend? Sandhagen or Song in the UFC fight night?
I'm a Sandhagen guy. I love Corey Sandhagen. I think he should have beat TJ Dillashaw, but that decision was, watching the fight, it was BS. But yeah, Song Yadong's a good fighter too. He's young and up and coming, but I'm sticking with Sandhagen, man. He's my height in bantamweight, so.
Games at Oregon. Games at Oregon.
At Oregon,
Yeah.
I'm probably going to side with Oregon. Probably going to have to side with Oregon.
Yeah, the first question.
Jeff, how do you work with a crazy motherfucker like Adam?
Because I know how to deal with him.
Okay.
And
God bless.
Listen, people call you crazy, but I love it, man. I have a blast. It's fun doing the show.
All right, Mailbag. Any non-local team games that you're looking forward to this weekend, either in college or pros, Jeff?
Texas A&M Miami's not a bad one.
The one game I was looking forward to was yesterday. It was the Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs. But moving forward, besides the Lions, that's a tough one, honestly. That was the only two games I was really concerned about, to be honest with you. I guess for fantasy purposes, there's other games I'm going to be tuning into.
Not Bucs Saints?
The big game for me was yesterday. It was Thursday. Chiefs and Chargers.
It's not over the weekend, but it's Monday night. Minnesota at Philly.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that
That's
game.
a great game,
I
too.
love that game. I'm going to be definitely watching that game for college football.
Michigan State Washington's not.
Michigan State Washington will have my attention. I will be watching that game very closely. It's a big game for Sparties. Let's see. Adham, Jeff, Lions fantasy starts. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is a must
that's a
start.
given. That's a
DeAndre
given.
Swift, obviously. Guy's a first, second round pick depending on your league.
And if you're TJ maybe has a bounce back performance, depending on what tight end you have.
I am done.
But if TJ's your only tight end, then start
I am
TJ.
done just going into a game hopeful or expecting or wanting TJ to do well. I can't do it anymore. It's very tiring.
But you're expecting Jeff Okudah to have a good game?
I'd like to see him have a good game, yeah. Not expecting him. We'll see.
All right. Well,
we'll see what they match him up
I
with.
would like TJ to have a good game. How about that?
Yeah, but I've done the I'd like TJ to have a good game for a fucking year and a half now, and it hasn't happened. So I'm kind of tired of doing it. That's all. All right, let's see. Who's your favorite non-Lions NFL team and why? I don't have a favorite. I don't.
The only teams I've your favorite or your fantasy team.
I don't have a side team.
Like you're watching players on your fantasy team. But besides that, no, I don't really have like a
for me
second
it's the
team.
Lions. I am.
Yeah. That's
I
me
was
too.
born into the Lions, guys. It's not changing. I'm not supporting any other team. So
Yeah, I don't get that too. Like
that's not
Lions
changing.
fans say you have a second team.
I can't have like a side team. Oh, I root for Pittsburgh when the Lions aren't doing well.
Like
fuck you.
Buy a goddamn Pittsburgh jersey.
I
then,
can't.
All right.
I can't do that. The fact that Stafford can't get away from Detroit is kind of funny. What do you mean? Am I missing something? Did I miss something in the news? Would you drop James Cook for Travis Etienne?
Bob, you can answer that one.
I mean, is that a real question, Andrew? Of course. It's not even a question.
Andrew, absolutely.
All right, let's see. How many turnovers must the Lions create to win the game? I'll say
2.
I'm going to say 1. They need 1. I don't think they're going to turn over the ball. I think they're going to learn from their mistakes. They weren't really threatening to turn the ball over as an offense outside of that one pick six. So
yeah, and it'll be 1 better than they did last week. So 1 would be perfect. Just get a turnover.
As a newly minted Spartan fan, will there be more Sparty content moving forward? Absolutely. Goddamn-lutely. It's early, guys. Early part of the season. Very, very difficult. You guys should know this. Very difficult. Right now, there's nothing to talk about when Michigan State beat Akron 52-0. And the only reason we talk about Michigan beating Hawaii is because of J.J. McCarthy. It's that simple.
Yeah. More storylines going on with Michigan.
That's it.
But
All right.
Peyton Thorne, we'll talk about him eventually.
Dying. Will Aiden Hutchinson have a bounce-back game? Question from Randy. Jeff?
It's a given. Yes, he will. Because he has to, and he knows he has to. Like, that's what Dan talked about, Aaron Glenn talked about. They're not worried about Aiden Hutchinson. Guy handles himself like a pro. He'll be bouncing back this week against Washington. It'll be, in my opinion, it'll be an easier game for him because you're facing a worse offensive line and you're facing a quarterback that just can't move like Jalen Hurts. So, yes, he will. He'll have a
Jesse
bounce-back
Adams says, is the college football show at 10 or 11 tomorrow? Jesse and everybody in the chat, moving forward, college football Saturdays will be on the Woodward Sports Network at 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. every Saturday. Myself and Jeff, it is going to be an absolute blast. Yes, I'm taking and doubting the Mormons again. Give me Oregon. I'm not taking the Mormons. I'm not
That's
trusting
at
them.
Oregon, right?
It is at Oregon.
Yeah, I'm going with Oregon as well.
More sacks this game, Detroit or Washington. I'll go Detroit. I think
Yeah.
Washington will throw more. And Detroit will control the time of possession. They'll be up.
Not only that, I trust the offensive line for Detroit too. So over Washington.
No Chase Young really influences
That's a big
that
deal.
as well.
That's a big deal.
So that is it for today. Thank you guys so much for joining. Make sure you watch Jeff and myself hosting the College Game Day Show live tomorrow from 10 to 11 a.m. on the Woodward Sports YouTube and website as well. Oh, yes.
By the way, Fletch asked, where's the college show at?
It's in the studio.
Well, same. You can come right back.
Well, it's in the studio for now, but there will be 3, 4, 5 games this year that we will do at campus. We just haven't decided the games yet. So
you
we're
can watch it on the
logistically
website
figuring
as
that
well,
out.
right?
Yep, watch it on the website too. You guys all have a great rest of your day. We're out of here.
too.
Fish, shut the fuck up and have a good weekend.
I'll try to.
Shut the hell up, I said.
Fish, okay.
Alex,
give him
have
a
a good
finger.
weekend. Go golf or do something. I don't know what the hell you do in your free time. Jeff, I'll see you
He's got
tomorrow.
baseball tomorrow.
We'll see you guys Sunday, too, for the Lions pregame show. We're out of here.
Go watch football.